So, like we were just saying, all of this stuff is a rabbit hole. You can go very deep into it. You can stay on the surface of it, and it just leads you from one thing to the next. But I find the more stuff you study, the more similarities you find between all of them when it comes back to yourself in this whole healing journey. Hi, Sarah. Sorry, we didn't say hi when you came on. We're in the middle of
That's
conversation.
okay. No, 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 that's fine. I loved it. Loved what you guys were talking about.
Good. So today, I had mentioned earlier that it's going to be relatively, probably shorter. Actually, I don't know if we'll run over, but we're going to do Akashic Records. Akashic Records, I'm going to share with you what I know about it. We're going to do a little guided meditation together. It's a recorded guided meditation um, because it's so I share a lot of tools, a lot of different tools that I use. And some of them you might like, some of them you might not like. And so we all have our niches, we all have our things that kind of like resonate with us. I love Akashic Records. I love them. I've used it. I've gotten a lot of information from it. But I will say that it is one of the tools that I don't use that much. I'm not exactly sure why. I love it. You get a lot of information from it. It's very literal, which I'll explain afterwards, but it's not one of the tools that I use a lot, but that's only because it's personal to me. I find it right now not something that I feel that I want to go into because again, it's deep and you can go very far with it because the Akashic Records is the ultimate record information library of everything past, present, and future. For me, it kind of feels a little bit overwhelming considering my lifestyle and what I do. So maybe later on in life, I will circle back to it. But for now, I use it just very, very minimally. But I'll give you all the information that I have on it. So that all that to say that the guided meditation that we're going to go through was one from my teacher, the one that I use whenever I do it to go into the guided meditation. I prefer we use that before instead of I talk you through it. So we're going to do that a little bit later. So if you have the opportunity, I know Sarah, you probably have the baby and stuff to kind of do, but it'll be on recording. You can always do it again later when you're sitting quietly. Any questions, feedbacks of everything leading up to now or anything to share? Kind of get that out of the way. No? Okay, good. So we're doing this today. Next class, I'm going to introduce the process of animal medicine. And then our last class, I'm hoping we can have more people kind of join and just have like a powwow, sharing, Q&A, kind of revamp, or if there's anything anyone wants to revisit, we could revisit that in the last class. And then that's our 12 weeks. I can't believe how fast it's flying. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. So Akashic Records. Now, we did the tune-ins and the tune-in process, and I think not everyone has had a chance to kind of work with the tune-in process, but Akashic Records are very similar to the tune-ins. Very, very, very similar in terms of the process that you're going to be doing, the grounding, the opening, the connecting. But the difference is that with the Akashic Record readings, it's not symbolic. In tune-ins, we receive symbology from spirit. We get messages and colors and representations and metaphors and things like that. When we go into the Akashic Records, it's literal. What you see is what you get. What you feel is what you feel. What you see is literally what it is in the images. So I just want to note that that's the difference between the two, but very similar, hence why it'll be probably a shorter process because we've already gone through the tune-in process. But Akashic Records, we all hear about Akashic Records. What is it? Literally in Sanskrit, the word Akasha means space, right? So we use space as one of the five elements, but probably the most important element because nothing can exist without Akasha, nothing can exist without space. So Akashic Records literally is the space that holds our records. It holds the records. And to be able to work with the Akashic Records, you have to kind of, not telling you what to believe, but in order to work with Akashic Records, you have to be comfortable and adapt the belief that there are multiple lifetimes. There is the idea of reincarnation. There is the idea that the soul goes through many lifetimes, rebirths and deaths, hundreds and thousands and millions of times to reach an ultimate destination of evolution. Because if you don't have that belief, then the Akashic Records don't really make sense then. There's no point in working with it. So the personal belief of karma and returning back to lives and experiencing things that we chose to come into this life to do, working with the Akashic Records helps us understand where our soul came from, why we do the things we do, why we carry the baggage that we're carrying, or the fears or certain aversions that we have, even things like on our physical body, why we have the body we have. They say birthmarks that you have on your body are just wounds from past lives that you've carried over into this life. You can research those. You can research anything you want from the Akashic Records, because it literally is the records of your entire soul's journey from the beginning till now, and even in the future. Because this is a little bit deep, but in the concept that time is a continuum, right? And time is circular, we understand, because as humans, we think of things as linear. So we think success is linear, we're born and then we grow and we die. But when you get into energy work and you get into things like the Akashic Records or oracle readings, you understand that everything is circular. So therefore, the past, the present, and the future are all existing at the same time. So when you enter into the Akashic Records, you are reading the past, you're reading the present, and you're reading the future all at the same time, because this can go into multiple realms, multiple universes, multiple dimensions, and all of that stuff. So we're going to keep it simple, that we're working with just reading our past lives journey to this point. We're not going into future records because that's a whole different ballgame. And that also is it could be dangerous, because if you go into reading future records, even though they're present, it could influence, it could inhibit your ability to make choices that you would have made not knowing this information, which is why I'm not a big fan of predicting futures, because we have free will. And if you follow what you're guided with, you're able to make choices on the path that you're supposed to go, as opposed to thinking this is my destiny and I'm destined for this and I don't really have a choice in it. Sorry, Kim, I think you wanted to say something. You had your.
I just had a question.
Mhm.
I guess because I didn't know, I never went into Akashic because I didn't know if it was possible to put that barrier where I don't want the future to come in, because I really don't want the future to come in. Like, I don't want to know.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
I'm an anxious person and I just don't want to know. It's just, I
Right.
have enough in this life. I don't need to know what's coming. So,
Yeah.
but there is a
Yeah.
way that you can just
There is
really just
absolutely a
ask.
way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
very much like when we do tune-ins, we specifically set our boundaries, our intention, and our protection of what we want out of this. We're very specific in Akashic Records, whereas in tune-ins you can kind of go in and say, like, okay, let's see whatever's happening. But Akashic Records are very specific. Because it's such a wealth of information, you can't really go in there and say, okay, well, show me something from my past life. It doesn't really work like that, because it's like thinking of walking into a library. Oh, I'm just going to pick a random book. You have to go specifically research specifically what it is that you want to know about and go with that. And so you'll ask the question when you're in there of like, show me so for example, what I've done, I've gone into the Akashic Records because I wanted to understand a little bit of the karma between, I've done a few people. So for example, my father, I went in and I asked specifically for the records to show me one specific lifetime that involved my soul's with my father's soul's interaction and what that was. When I go in, I get the image, I see that there was through the images that I get, the storyline is that he is like a worker or a guard at a prison, and I was in the prison, either as a prisoner or either as a child, but it was young. I was a young child, either came about in the prison, but innocent in the sense that was not supposed to be there. He was a guard, and there was this idea of this child should not be here. And he took an oath at that time to protect that child going forward in that lifetime. And that has carried over, which is very indicative of what he is for me in this life, which is also indicative of the fact that he has a fascination with prisons. In this life, he used to work at a prison. And I forgot all that stuff. It was when I was younger and I was telling him about this, and he's like, yeah, he used to work in a prison. He knows that he used to be a prison guard, because I come from a very spiritually connected family. So he knows this, and I didn't know any of this. And so this is the kind of thing where you specifically understand the reasons why we're brought together in this life and the role that he's playing. And he is that guide, that protector for me in so many things that I've done in my life. That's a small example. I've gone into the records with my husband and understanding our karmic debts and what they are, and they go very, very deep. But let's go into the Akashics before I get into all that stuff. Let's scale it back a little bit, because some of that stuff you're like, oh, okay. All right. So Akashic Records holds the records of your entire soul's journey from the beginning. It's really fascinating when you kind of go into it, because it is a little bit of like this whole time travel journey that you go in, and you can ask anything from like where I've lived, special powers I've had, how I've died, who was involved in it. So it's really like having access to your history without even really knowing it. Okay. And we've gone through so many different lifetimes. But one thing I really want to make important to note is that in order to go into the Akashic Records, you also have to have the openness to understand that we have come from millions of lifetimes, probably. And in those millions of lifetimes, we played all roles. So meaning that we come from dark pasts. We have been the oppressor. We've been oppressed. We've been violent. We've been the victim. We've been everything that stems along the whole spectrum of good and bad. So we need to understand that when we go into Akashic Records, sometimes we can get information, and it might not be the kind of information that we feel comfortable with, or because we like to think of ourselves as always good and want to do good and want to help people, but that's not always the case. Because we had to learn lessons that we needed to learn. We needed to hurt people in order to be better and try to evolve past that. And chances are most of us have, because we're sitting here today with all of us living in this idea of being good and having service. And, you know, we're not on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of evolution. So when we go into the Akashic Records, it's important to recognize that, yes, we've been both perpetrated against and the perpetrator, but also the information that we get is not there to how do you say, kind of like take the responsibility away or justify why we kind of do the things we do. Oh, well, he killed me in my past life, so he owes me in this life, so this is what I have to take from him. Or, you know, or anything from the past life that happened, and say, oh, well, you screwed me over, so too bad. This is why this is happening right now, and that's it. We have to use it to be able to say and understand with compassion and openness that this is what happened and move past it, not use it to justify our behavior in this life.
I guess it's always like, it always has to do with awareness. Exactly. From the moment we're aware, then it's on purpose.
Exactly.
If we done stuff we weren't aware of, then that's what it is, right? Because we have all those things inside. It's not because we want to be nice that we don't think sometimes like, and then we just don't act upon it, but it's still there. Like, exactly. We still have all these sides of us. It's just that now we're conscious of them and we don't act upon them.
Exactly. And we can choose better. So sometimes having access to this kind of information helps us understand that we can choose better. It helps give a little bit of context to why something's happening. Because I find those demons inside of us come out when there's uncertainty, when there's insecurity, where there's really that need to protect yourself because you have no idea. But when you know a little bit more, it's easier to allow yourself to tap into being better, choosing better, and moving more towards love and compassion as opposed to resentments. So, what were the other points that I wanted to cover in there? So, how do we get there? How do we find this information? I know. So, because it's the idea of Akasha, and Akasha is space, there's multiple different ways that you can access it through your meditation. And it's really about moving yourself into a space. So I've learned it through how we do our meditation when we ground ourselves and we drop our roots into the center of the earth. The center of the earth is an Akashic space. So the records are held literally around us, but to access them, we go down deep into the earth through our meditation, which you'll see through the guided meditation, that we allow ourselves to sink deep into the earth through our meditation to access the records. There are other Akashic readers that do it different ways. It's said that if you go 280 feet above the ground, that's where the space begins that holds the Akashic records. So you can take your meditation upwards into the ethers to access the Akashic records. There are other Akashic readers that will use things like a tree, going up to, visioning yourself going up to a tree. There's a door in the tree, knocking on the door, opening the door, going into the tree. So there's always this idea of going into a space where you believe or you resonate where the Akashic records sits for you. I've done both. I haven't done the tree one, but I've done the downward energy into it and I've done the upward energy into it. I did find that I liked the upward energy rather than the downward energy because the downward energy felt very claustrophobic a little bit for me. I like the upward energy. So I would recommend trying both, see which one you kind of feel good with. What happens when you're doing an Akashic record reading simply is sitting, getting yourself into an elevated state. So by that, I mean breathing, relaxing, letting go of any stress, not being, uncertain or with frustrated emotions or anything like that, but being centered. Getting into your breath, getting into your guided meditation like we've done, which is dropping the roots, opening up to spirit, invoking the angels. I use Michael, always use Michael, and Uriel, Azrael sometimes too, because they are protectors of the gates, and they are light beings. So invoking the angels, invoking your protection, creating your space. And there's this idea of traveling because when we do this kind of energy work, imagination is your direct connection to the spirit world. We imagine things and we think it's our imagination, but when we do this work, we understand how important the imagination is because even though it feels like you're telling yourself a story or whatever, it's just the route that you use to get there. So imagination is really important to understand that this is your best friend. You're creating a pathway that you're going to use to set your subconscious to connect with this energy. And so it's a pathway. We're going to travel downwards to the center of the earth to access the records. When we access the records, like anything that exists in the spirit world, there's always protectors, there's always guides around us. Like we have protectors, we have guides, we have, angels. It is said that the Akashic Records holds, it's a library. So when you go to a library, there's a librarian. There's always a librarian that'll help you to go where you need to go. So we consider the Akashic records like that. It is protected by a source governed higher than us, a higher frequency. So when we get to the Akashic records, we consider that there is this protector of this energy that needs to give us permission to get in to read this, because just like we put our barriers up when we have when we do readings or we do energy work or we do protection and things like that, we put our barriers up because we don't want dark energies to come in. Akashic records are the same thing. They are protected so the dark energies do not come into them. So there's a guard, so to say. So in order to access or penetrate that wall that we have put up, same thing with the Akashic records, we have to ask permission to source, to energy, to whatever you want to call it, to access this information, because our intention is in purpose, is in service, is in good, is in love. We never read to get malefic information, to find out something about someone, to be gossipy, or just to know for ourselves from an ego point, what is this person dealing with? That's not our business. If we're going in there, it really is to serve, if it's a client or for yourself, to get information to help me move forward with love, with respect, with integrity, with innocence and purity, really, if that makes sense, right? Like we don't do any of this work to do anything that has to do with malefic intentions. And that's felt. So when you get to the door, the quote unquote door of the Akashic records, and you ask permission and you set the intention that you're here in the highest service of love, then that energy opens up to you. That door, that protection that's around it opens up to you, and you are given the information that you specifically come here to ask. So you will ask, in this one, we're going to ask specifically for a power. For something, so when I first did it, I asked for specifically a power that I had in a past life that I can either I haven't tapped into, or I don't know much about, or I should look more towards, that I can work on better and utilize in this life to help me move forward. When I had first done it, I had gotten the image of, there was a woman, a blonde-haired woman, who was doing healing work on what appeared to be like a child or a teenage child. So that literally is, I was a healer working with energy in one of my past lives. As I've gone in and done more, I've been crucified for it. But energy work and healing and witchcraft and all those things is something that I have a background in, which I'm pretty sure all of you do too, because souls travel together, which is why we're all here together. We all probably were part of a little cult back in the days together and got crucified or stoned to death all together. But so yeah, that's the one that we're going to do today, to try and see if we can get any kind of information. Again, it's like every single tool, you have to practice it to get better at it, to understand it, because if you're doing tune-ins, so for me, I was doing tune-ins, it was difficult for me to get into the mindset now of what I see is what I get, because I get into symbology, but it's not symbolic, it's literal. My father was literally a guard, and I was literally that kid. I was literally stoned to death. The person that did it literally is in my current life. It's a lot of things that you see are specific. So you have to kind of change that mindset a little bit.
I have a question, Wendy.
Sure, yeah.
When they do sometimes the Akashic actually send you images that you didn't go and ask for it, but they're really important that you get at that moment for some reason? Is that from the Akashic?
I haven't experienced that. I don't really know anyone that's experienced that, because Akashic won't give you anything that you're not ready to see or you're asking for. Tune-ins will. Tune-ins is a different space where spirit will show you, guides will show you something that you need to see right now, or you'll take that information symbolically and put it together.
But they can show you from a past life.
Pardon?
The tune-ins, they can also show you from a past life.
So we don't really go into Akashic records in a past life. We don't really do past lives, because tune-ins are current. Tune-ins are this life, this current energy, what I'm working with.
Okay.
And
It's just that in a tune-in, in a meditate, I was doing bija meditation.
Yeah.
I was doing like a very strong bija with my stone on each chakra. And at one point when I put it on Ajna, I saw someone that I know in this life, space, and me as a priest, a priestess. How do you say that?
Priestess.
Yeah. In Atlantid. It was like blue, and there was like, and this is the stone from Atlantid.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we were there, and it was him, and we were holding a bubble of energy, and that it went like 5 seconds, like not even 5 seconds, like 1 second and a half. And then I sort of, I took it off because I was like, what the heck? And then I just sort of went to the guides, and I was like, yeah, but you wouldn't have that face back then. And they answered, well, how could we show you that it's him other way, right? It was the only way we had. And I was like, oh, okay. But that was it. Like, I've never went back. So is that something that I could go back in to have more info?
So I was just going to say that. Absolutely. So when you go in and you get sort of images or whatever, you can ask questions. You can go back in a later time and find out what it is this was. So if you had that vision, I would go into whatever you felt, either a tune-in or Akashic, and then say specifically, can you show me more of this lifetime? Or can you show me more of this relationship? Or the meaning behind this? Or whatever it is that came to, or that you feel this connects to. You go in.
So they can kind of send you little visions.
Yeah, or they can kind of send you, hey, come and check this out. Exactly. And then even when you're in there and you get comfortable, you can start to ask more questions. You can start to ask, I'm seeing like, so when I was in the one with my father, okay, is this guard my father? And then you get a more prominent image. So you're like, yes, and it feels right. And so you can ask questions. Who am I in this lifetime? What am I doing? What period is this from? What part of the world is this from? Was this, is this relevant to my life right now? So many things. You can ask any questions you want to get clarifications, and you'll get them once you're in there, rooted in service and love. They'll give you anything that you need. Yeah.
Sorry, Wendy, I'm curious, when you get into that space and you see the guard, you said that there's a guard. How do you know that's the guard? Like, is there an actual vision of a guard, or do you see a face?
So you could. So I don't see a face. I see, it's kind of like a silhouette. I feel a silhouette. I know that one of my teachers, she sees like a white-haired angel type of thing. I know that one of my other, like a colleague, sees more of just a shadowy figure. So, and then I know other people who don't really see anything. They kind of just sense, or they feel like they're talking to this white energy, or it's just, you know what I mean? So I can't say specifically when you go in there what you're going to see or how you're going to feel, but there is an energy there that you'll kind of get accustomed to how you see it. Because very much like we put our protections up, there is a barrier there and you have to ask permission, but how it comes to you will be different for how it comes to me. So go in there thinking you're going to see Gandalf from The Wizard of Oz. Lord of the Rings.
Okay. So when you do sense that, then you say, may I, like you ask a question, may I ask a question?
Yeah. So we're going to go through the guided meditation. So you'll see exactly the steps on how to do it. And then you can always kind of modify it to how you feel comfortable. Okay. So when we go through the guided, she'll take us through the entire process, all the way down to the Akashic Records, the door, asking permission, asking for, right now we're going to do specifically for a power that we had in a past life that will enable us to move forward in this life with that, or tap into. We're going to spend a couple of minutes in that quiet space to allow the visions to come through. And then we close the space and we come out and we thank them. Okay. Any questions? me make sure there's nobody sitting in the queue. Nope, we're good. All right. All right. Another thing I wanted to mention is that when we do Akashic Records, we never do them for children. We never do them for children. And when I say children, I usually say younger than the ages of like 13, 14. 15, 16 still even is they're very fragile in terms of the information that they're given. I mean, you can always do Akashic Records to understand if it was your children, what is my relationship with them, or, you know, where does this come from? Or, you know, if it's as a mother out of service and love or whatever, but you never do it for children and then go, hey, in the past life you used to be this or you used to do that or this is why this happened kind of thing, because they just don't have that brain capacity to understand that. We also don't do it for people that are like mentally unstable or schizophrenic or anybody that doesn't have the capacity to understand or assimilate to this kind of information, right? So we really just keep it very simple for ourselves and never to think that we're doing good by someone by giving them information that they never asked for. Okay, so let me pull up my recording. Give me 1 second, guys. We're gonna get comfortable. Where is it? Let me see if I can access it through my phone. One second, guys. I can't seem to find it on my computer. I want to put it on my phone, but I want to make sure. I don't know if will it work if I put my phone in airplane mode? I can't get onto the internet in airplane mode, eh? No.
Is it a file or it's YouTube?
It's a file, but I have it in my Dropbox. So I need the internet to access it.
Oh, you don't have internet on your computer?
No, I do. I have it on my computer, but for some reason it's not letting me get into it. So I would play it on my phone, but I don't want to play it on my phone in case my phone rings. That'll interrupt it.
You can't drop it from your phone to your.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I got it.
Good.
We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay.
This is.
Can you guys hear that? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so it's fairly long, might feel long, but it's 10 minutes in length, the recording, because we take a while to ground and travel and get there and spend some time in there and then come out. Okay. So we're going to go through the meditation. We're going to do it. It's the first time some of you are doing it, so be gentle with yourself. Just follow it. If you feel overwhelmed or you're getting not enough information or too much information, just take it as it comes. It's a safe and protected space. And just be gentle with yourself. See how it's going. And then you'll kind of try it again later, see how you feel. You'll have it on the recording. I do ask that you not share the recording with other people because obviously it was shared with me from my teacher and I don't want to, disrespect her. It's not on YouTube or anything, but it's one of my personal ones that I use from her. So please don't share it with anyone. But you can use it for yourselves. And if you have a pen and paper and you want to make notes, kind of like we do in the tune-ins, that can help you because later you can always go back in and you can always see if there's anything that you want to go back in and research. So like even one of the times that I had done it when I first started doing it, I had gotten there was one where I couldn't even get to the door. Like when I did my meditation, I got through the journey and then I couldn't get to the door because it just felt like there was a lot of these heavy, dark images, ghoul-like type of energies just coming at me that were preventing me from getting to the door. And I was like, okay, forget it. Forget this. I'm getting out of here. And then I left. And then my teacher actually had taught me, she was like, those are also indications of this is probably a life that I have a lot of resistance to. It was indication that I worked with a lot of dark energies in some of my past lives, and this is probably one of it. Hence these souls feel the need to kind of come back at me because it felt like they were just trying to get help from me, like help me. And I like couldn't. And I was like, okay, I'm out of here. So, and to be truthful, I haven't gone back and researched it because she's like, go back and research it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and check. But I don't think that I'm ready to go down that road. So I never really did it. I'm just maybe at some point later on in life, but things like that happen. So don't be averted if there's things that you just don't feel like, because Akashic Records we saved for the end because it's intense and it's a lot of information you can get and it's very, very powerful to work with. So take it easy, take it as it comes. Okay, we're ready. Quiet space. It's 10 minutes. Join as much as you want. Fondi, if you're not feeling well, you do it. You just listen. We're ready. Make sure I turn it off. Good. And here we go. Happy journeying.
This is your journey into the Akashic Records, a guided meditation. So welcome to the most complete library anywhere. Create sacred space for yourself. I'll give you a few moments to get yourself settled, to get yourself relaxed, to ensure that the space that you're sitting in and journeying in is clear, that the intention is to engage in highest love, light, wisdom, and healing through this Akashic record dive. Allowing yourself to sit and get settled, focusing on your breath, breathing in deeply, and exhaling deeply. Allowing your mind to focus, your eyes to turn up to your third eye as you close them. Bringing yourself entirely into this space. Connect deep into the earth, into Gaia, the intelligent organization of all life on this planet. Feel your roots wrapping deep into the center of the earth. Feeling supported here in this earth realm. Feeling supported by Gaia, by the intricate balance of life. Living together in harmony with all other life. Breathe in this support through your root chakra and feel your energy settling and being centered and held by Gaia. Bring your attention to the crown and open the crown to spirit of highest love, light, wisdom, and vibration, welcoming in the light of spirit, the love of spirit, the energy of spirit. And you're an open column of light, opening your channel to highest love, light, wisdom, and vibration, rooted deep into Gaia, into the earth, and open and held in highest love, light, wisdom, and vibration by spirit. And feel yourself in this open sphere. And we ask for this space to be protected. We ask for Archangel Azrael, Michael, and Uriel of highest love, light, and vibration to be the gatekeepers for this Akashic Records session. We ask that you ensure the clarity of vision, truthfulness of what is seen in the highest service to the soul while traveling into the records. We ask that you protect this space with a triple shield of auric protection and ensure a delivery to and from this process safely and in highest energy of love. And state for yourself, my intention is to learn something valuable about my own power in this life, to uncover a power I have not yet developed, but have deep inside myself. Something established in a lifetime past, something that I can use to create much good and healing in my life now. Begin your tune in. See and feel yourself melt down through the earth beneath you, descending into the roots of the earth, descending into the soil of the earth, into the rocks, into the loam, through all the layers and levels. As you travel through the layers of life, it grows dark and comforting. Feel the warm earth surrounding you. You're held here in love and in truth. You arrive at a doorway, make a prayer gesture. Ask for this door to the Akashic Records library to be open for you now. As it slowly opens, see and feel yourself entering a great space, larger than you have ever known, filled with all of the books, files, and stories of everything that has ever been. Every thought, every word, every feeling, every relationship, every occurrence that has ever happened in every lifetime. It is all here. Feel the awe of this, the completeness of this, the expansiveness of this. You are here. See and feel the keeper of the records appear in front of you. Offer a prayer of thanks, humility, and intention to research a lifetime to bring power and healing into your life now. Ask, please grant me access to the files in this great library. I come in peace and integrity with the intention of researching one of my past lives that contains information and healing regarding a power to share in this life. A power that I'm not fully aware of, but that I have developed in life past. Please take me to an impactful lifetime that brings me into contact with this power. Thank you for allowing me access. The keeper will help you find a file that is meant for you. See the keeper take you to the files. Select one for you. See the file or the book open. Allow yourself to travel into the lifetime and see what is there. Continue to explore in this lifetime. Ask any questions that you need to ask to help you clarify. Allow yourself a few more moments here. When you have finished this exploration, come back to the library and ask, please heal and clear any files and energy that have been opened by this research with love, truth, and highest consciousness. Heal and clear the energy that has been opened during this lifetime and in these files in all directions, through all bodies, levels, layers, and minds. Clear the energy now and clear it in all directions, applying healing, applying love. Seal any portals or cracks that have been opened here with truth and with love. Now turn to the record keeper, the librarian, and bow in gratitude. Thank you for this experience and the truth found here. I ask to be allowed to return in the future. After you finish bowing, go back to the door, exit it into the dark of the earth, and ascend through the layers of life and time. Feeling yourself move up from the deep earth and into the room in which you sit. Come back here, come back into your breath, come back into your awareness. Now close your reading fully and properly. Bring your hands to in prayer at your chest. I close this channel now, root, trunk, and seed. I am back in my own energy. I separate my energy from where I have been, and any energy picked up in my travels that is not of highest love, light, and vibration. I clear this now through all bodies, levels, and layers. And please reestablish a triple shield of auric protection around me. Thank you for being my gatekeepers, Archangel Uriel, Michael, and Azrael. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you, Gaia. Come back into your breath. And your tune is complete.
How's everyone doing?
I never got in. I just had a white aura in front of me the whole time.
So you didn't get into the door?
No, I just had a white aura in front of me. I just never got past the white aura, light floaty thing in front of me.
But did you ask, like, did you just hang out with the white aura?
Well, I asked and I did all this stuff. Like, actually, the lady talks very quickly.
She does, yes.
And I tried to repeat or go with her, but I wasn't really able to speak with my own voice. I was trying to, I kind of felt like I was piggybacking on her.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really speaking from my inner self.
That's totally normal because it's the first time you did it, and listening to a guided meditation, there's always that torn between them and me.
Yeah.
But this was to give you an idea. I would highly suggest to do it again, this time in your own voice, because you know the process of where you're going and, taking the journey down and all that probably there's that resistance of getting into the door because this doesn't feel like your experience or your want. But you got to a white light, which is a great sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just standing there the whole time. Yeah. But I did see that aura or that, like it's like smoke, kind of like smoky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's beautiful because at least you're tapping into the energy. It's just now getting more comfortable and confident with yourself to be able to walk through the doors.
Yeah.
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah, I felt like maybe I had some resistance because I'm always a little bit apprehensive about entering into like a new space. I
Yeah.
don't know what to expect. So
Yeah. I feel like I can relate to that because it's kind of like the experience that I had when what I mentioned before, when I got to the door. I couldn't get into the door because I just felt like you saw like white light, but I felt a lot of like things coming at me and there was that resistance. Yeah. Not being ready, but baby steps. So you kind of just take it as it comes, go a little bit more. Maybe next time you kind of speak with them a little bit in your own voice and then open up the door.
is there like, we can say stuff that's similar to your teacher in the meditation and not exactly those words, like the way what she said.
Yeah, you can write it down like the exact same line per line, or you can change it with your own intention, your own spin, because it's really your intention of what's said into it. You can use minimal words, you can use like full phrases, because energy is picked up. So once you're in that space, the energy picks up if this is in the highest love and service and light that you want to access the information. So it's not that you have to sit there and say every single word exactly. As long as your intention is set and your confidence is there and you're ready, yeah, you can go ahead and do it any way you wish.
Okay.
Yeah. And you guys, anything else?
I had a crazy experience.
Okay. You tell.
Wow, I'm actually a little shaken. I'm still like
Okay, take a deep breath.
Yeah. Actually, it has to do with the breath, so that's why it's like kind of, I can't breathe, right? Like I don't breathe, I have asthma. And my nose has been clogged forever, right? It's not anymore. I'm going to actually go for nausea now because it's going to go through. And I'm actually going to go very soon now that I've seen this. But I actually went in and I thought it was pretty fast. Like she goes down really fast, a bit too fast for me. But I've just sort of, at first I was resisting because it was like, whoa, I'm not there yet. But then I just went with it. And I just closed my eyes in the silence and I just went with it. And as soon as I actually accepted, like I said, okay, just go with this. I started smelling wood burning. And I have that smell often when I can smell. And I usually can't a lot, right? But as soon as I do, as soon as it's clear, I often have like, it feels like, and I'm asking people around, right? Like, do you smell something burning? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. And it was clear. It was really like a fire pit. So I thought, okay. So I asked, when she said you can ask a question, I said, was I burned? Like, is it me burning? And I felt the worm all over my body. And I was like, holy shit, it is. It was clear to me that it was. So I was like, it wasn't hurting. It was just like, whoa, the heat came on my skin, right? So I just went, okay. So I said, why? Why was I burned, right? And all I saw was a mortar and a pestle with stuff in it. And I just saw my hands, like I had this dress. I could see like sort of a dress, and I was just like, and there was a mortar, and I was, I don't know, doing something. And all I could see was a root, a huge big root with all the earth on it, right? Like a piece of root that was there. And it felt like, oh, and then I realized, I said, okay, so, because there's a part of me that always felt like, for as long as I can remember, to go into herboristerie, in like herbal medicine and stuff. But I never really did. Like I'm in Ayurveda, but I never really went, that's it, right? That's the space where I was into herbs. I never really went deep into really herbal medicine, or earth medicine, I should say. And it felt like that. And then I thought, oh, that's crazy, because the kapha, remember? I came in saying Vata Pitta, kapha was not even existing. And since I've reconnected with you and all those healings we did, with the kapha, my life literally changed. Like I can breathe, there's a lot of more space in me, and heart opening and love and all this. kapha, nurturing, right? And I'm Taurus, so I'm very connected to the earth, very connected. And I think that I feel that I really have to go deeper into this because I'm really a hurt medicine woman, I think. There's something that's really, that's the power that I've not really fully went into yet. And then I was like, wow, so all this, and the fact that I kept coughing, and I was like, and this, all this mucus and kind of thing that was there, it kept coughing and stuff. Like I just had this, see, I can't really breathe. And then I realized it kind of came onto me. Oh my God. It might, like, I can't be sure, but at the end there, it just felt like I've inhaled so much smoke that it's still kind of stuck, like it's kind of related a bit. I always thought it was related to my mom for some reason. And right now I'm like, maybe it's not. Maybe it's related to the fact that, see, it's still there. I'm talking about it and I can feel that I think that I'm going to go back and see how that part can really just kind of heal better because, well, I think I already have a feeling that the more I'm going to go deep into the earth medicine, that's what's going to heal me. That's how I'm going to, anyway, I don't know exactly because that's my head now, but I feel it's related. So, wow. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So if I may interject, I feel that you are on the right path with where you're going with that. Because from the time you came in, your kapha was blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, Kim came in and she was like, I'm a pitta. This pitta is this girl doesn't really recognize she's got a little kapha imbalance. But yeah, very, very much related. So with kapha, with earth, with the healing that's required here, because this is where you hold your imbalance. Your breathing is your lungs, which is the water, which is ojas, which is kapha. It's all of that, and there's been the resistance against it. So clearly the visuals that you get are that of you probably were a medicine woman, probably one really good at your job and really healing. And there was a time in history that you were crucified for that, burned to death, stoned to death. So it's probably that's where the resistance come from because of the inability to express your truth right now because it was suppressed in past lives.
It's funny because last month I started a Druid formation because I really felt like there's a very big part of me that felt Druidic, like the Celtic part. I'm from there. Like I look like I have the looks and everything, and I'm really from there. Like I feel the roots at the Celtic, and I think that it makes a lot of sense all that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So there's your power. There is one power that you used in probably multiple past lifetimes to bring healing, and it was taken from you, and you're shown now that it is yours. You just have to revive it. Because every lifetime that we go through is really just for healing. All the information that we get is never really far from what we already know, far from what we already feel. It's just giving us confirmation on certain things and clarity and vision towards where healing has to happen.
And I even had a lot of allergies, like to herbs and flowers and trees, graminease and pollen.
Your body's
now trying to not. Like this year, everybody's like, whoa, there's pollen everywhere. I keep sneezing. I'm so stuck and everything. And I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So it's starting to really, I think it's all the same process.
That's a beautiful example of the Akashics, how we carry over everything from life to life to lifetime. That which brought you joy, you are now averted to in this life because of the fear that you have with it. So everything in your being was resisting it on a physical level, the allergies, not being able to acknowledge the fact that it was this kapha that was sitting with you.
Because it's crazy, like 6 years of Ayurveda, 6 years of Ayurveda, or even more, like almost 8 before I actually go into your office. And I'm like, I don't know. And then it's like, oh, and what about kapha? You don't have any kapha? No, not really. It's like,
How
and
am
I'm
I
like super kapha. I'm like vata kapha big time, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I don't have any. It's with that far.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you practice Ayurveda for 6 years and not acknowledge? I mean,
Yeah.
that's how like blocked it was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I was
That's how
born with it,
traumatic that experience was for you, right?
if
That's
I was
how
born for
traumatic
it, now it's all making sense, right?
Mhm. So the body has memory. It's all memory. Energy is all memory. So accessing it, going into the Akashic Records, even though we're traveling through this deep into the earth, we're really just going deep into that cellular memory that we have that's carrying our past lifetimes. So this is exactly how Kim explains it, as she saw it. She didn't literally go into the earth. She went into the earth of her own cellular makeup to access the information that's in there, that travels with her from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. It's the same for all of us. Thank you, Kim. Continue with that and keep us posted.
Yeah.
Go back in.
Thank you. I was
Now
like,
you can
this
even
morning
go-
I was so, it's hard for me to make the 11, as you've seen, I'm at 3. It's really hard, like, because I have other stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And this week I just went like, okay, that's what I'm moving. I have to be there. I don't know why there was something that I was like, okay, no, I'm just going to move the other stuff today. And then see.
And now you can go in with oracles, you can go in with tune-ins, and you can now get guidance on how to bring this power to surface in this life. You can get guidance how to move forward. So when you get information from Akashic, you're not just sitting with it and trying to figure things out on your own. You're using the rest of your tools now to help you move forward, to move past the fear and the anxiety, and reprogram yourselves now to empower yourself with the information that you get and move forward with it.
Yeah.
So utilize
in Ayurveda, the plant base out of the Dinacharya.
Yeah.
The Rita Charya, the plant base was the one I was struggling with. I was like, it's kind of, it felt even like, oh no, see, I was sort of skipping over pretty fast. Like out of the 10, it's just sort of, oh yeah, but not really my thing. And so it's really, really deep. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm going to make an appointment as soon as I can.
Whenever you're ready. You all know where to find me. I'm right here. I'm in the same place all the time. Wonderful. Anyone else? Sarah, did you have a chance to try it?
Yeah, I did. But I got to the door and then Sebastian, my baby, started looking for attention. So I tried to bring him in, and he was coming in and out. And that was as far as I could get. I think it's not something I can do accompanied.
No. Yeah. I was gonna say that it's a solo journey.
Yeah. So it was good, and kind of the same feedback. Beautiful guided meditation. I really liked it. And Fondi already put into words kind of my thoughts, like, can I say these things? Is this really coming from me? So I'm going to have to listen to it again, from like a cerebral level, write down what I like, see how it is I want to phrase those things, get comfortable with it, and then go in.
Exactly.
But what I did feel, which from the beginning of the process, different to all of our other guided meditations, is I felt a lot of energy, like a lot of energy coming around my entire body in through different ways, which I hadn't felt before. I felt very accompanied, very, very accompanied, very guided, I guess. But I felt more like it was company, that I was being pushed, go, you have to go, you're going, feel safe, don't worry. And I'm like, okay, almost as if they knew that, Sebastian wasn't going to give me any time. So they were forcing me down and I wasn't ready. That was it.
Yeah. So definitely I recommend giving it another shot, seeing how it goes for you. Yeah. Because it feels like you have this sort of interest in the Akashic Records.
For a long
Yeah.
time, and actually, no, not for a long time, since I didn't know that there was such a thing that existed as like a library of everything. But
Yeah.
from my childhood up until now, I've done a lot of fantasy reading, and this idea of libraries, or that trees take note of everything that's around us, and we could get the knowledge from them, or little rocks or rivers that take note of all of the wars that occur, like all of those things. This idea that I guess space, Akasha, holds our history. And there's a few things from our human history that I'm really interested in learning more about. And in that the series of books, The Ringing Cedars of the Taiga, or The Ringing Cedars, one of the main characters, Anastasia, that's what she spends her time doing. She's a recluse in a forest, and she spends time remembering our forefathers and foremothers and all of our ancestry, and looks to try to bring that information to the forefront and share it with the world. And it's neat because she uses, I guess it was originally written in Russian and now it's being translated into a bunch of other languages, and she might not use the vocabulary we use from the spiritual level, but she uses other vocabulary, and it's all kind of tying together. So I'm really curious, and I believe that probably a few people do it and haven't been able to promote it, or maybe they have, but it doesn't reach us because we're not at that vibration yet. So I'm super
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. Once you start looking into it, there's a lot of teachers and books about the Akashic Records.
Okay.
Sandra Ann Taylor does a lot of Akashic record too. She has the Oracle deck. Do I have it here? No, I have the Energy Oracle deck, but I have the Akashic Record Tarot deck from
Okay.
Sandra Ann Taylor. So she's a good one too. She has some guided meditation. She's one of the ones that does the tree meditation when she goes into Akashic Records.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think Akashic Records can be used to help find some of the lies that we've been told in history?
Lies?
Like, can we find the truths?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything that has to do with something that occurred, you can find it out. If it's true, if it's not true. If it's not true, you can find the truth. You can ask, show me what really happened. Yeah. Show me the parties involved. Show me the outcome. Yeah. You can research anything really. It's a library. It's bigger than Google.
So cool. Better than Google. Better than
Yeah. Wonderful. Cindy, any feedback? Did you try it?
Yeah, I did, but I also agree with like Fondi, what she was saying, that it was a little fast and I didn't own it because it's the first time. So because I've been watching so many animes, it literally was an anime for me. So she was the narrator, because animes have a lot of narration going on, like Naruto does this and that, and this is what's going on in his mind, sort of thing. Well, maybe not Naruto, although that's the latest thing for my son too. But anyway, yeah, so as she was talking, I literally, everything was like an anime, and I can even visualize it right now. I could probably draw it all out with all the colors, going traveling down into the center of the earth, layer by layer, feeling the heat. But the thing is, it's a very bright room I'm in. I'm surrounded by windows. Okay, it's like a bay window. So when she was talking about the darkness of the earth, I couldn't get into the feeling. So I broke out of that space and I shut off some of the blinders. Then I went back into it, and so it was very much like me watching an anime. And I saw the door open. I went in and I was greeted by this old man with whiskers, and he was floating. He wasn't walking, he was kind of floating, whisking me as I followed. And I was in long pigtails, very much like Sailor Moon style pigtails. And then I just went along with it, and I saw rows and rows of books, really beautiful, gorgeous, dark wood floors, marble pillars, beautiful library. But I was just so fascinated with the library that when it came time for me to open the book up, it was a blank page. It was nothing. It was just like a bright light. And then I said to myself, just go with your imagination. What would you see? And I just saw myself reading all the books in this library, and I felt like I was just a researcher.
Did you ask though?
I did. Yeah, I did. I asked many times actually, because I wanted to bring myself back into the space, talking to this like grandmaster with the whiskers. Okay, so show me a previous life where I had some power, and how could it affect this life? And I asked like 3-4 times, and all I saw was just me reading books. And it reminded me so much of, like La Belle, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah.
Belle was just like walking around singing, reading books, and
Yeah.
that's how I saw myself, or
But
that
that's
character.
funny because that is so indicative of you.
Well, a
That
researcher. I felt like the
you're-
word researcher came up, like researcher.
Yes, so that's exactly what I get as you're talking. The student comes to mind for me,
Yeah.
for you, of a student hungry for knowledge, because that's also the kind of energy you have. You want to genuinely learn. You
Yeah.
want to genuinely try and experience, and oh, but why? Why do you do this? How do you do that? You have that innocence of genuinely just wanting to get all this knowledge.
I
And
do, but
so
see, that's
it
the thing.
comes off, like I can see you in the room going, wow, it's so beautiful. Look at these floors, look at these books. Wow.
Yeah, well, that's what I was confused. I'm like, am I imposing just my own present, this life self, and not really getting any information about my past lives, because it's just me in my own nature looking at this space going, oh my God, I could spend lifetimes in this space just reading up all these books.
But then that's something you can do because you have this love right now for this. You can go back and ask him, where does this come from? How can I use this love and this need for wanting knowledge? What maybe that's your superpower of gathering knowledge and sharing it. That could very well be something that you use in this life, because we're not far from what we are. If we're here and we're studying it and we're looking to the Akashic Records, we're not far.
No.
We're very close. We just need more information on where this is and this power is, because we all kind of already have an idea, or there's an aversion or something that's going to click that's very close to us of what it is.
Yeah, because when you think of it, like I was born a lot of Kapha, I was born Taurus, so everything is back to make it earthy.
Yeah. Even if you look at Cindy, you've got shelves of books behind you.
Exactly.
That's what I was gonna say. That's all you have around
sitting
you.
in the library. Yeah.
And I keep buying more and more. It's like the oracle cards for you, Wendy. I'm never satisfied. I really want to learn more and more.
You can go back in and ask, where does this hunger come from? Like, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you want to know, that you need to know, that maybe you weren't able to accomplish finding out in past lives, so that you could know what section of the library you need to go to now.
Okay.
And it's fascinating how it comes in pieces everywhere. And then you just go, like, I just remembered in one of my session of writing, like inspirational writing, like just like automatic writing, connected. I had this thing that was saying, because I'm a writer, singer, songwriter. And I was like, okay, but where does the Eler, like, how does that work? Like, right? And I remember it said in there, be Gaia's voice. It kept saying that, be Gaia's voice, be Gaia's voice. And I studied in environment, like durable ways to live in a better society, blah, blah. And I'm fascinated by all, like, you can't, like, somebody throws a bottle and I go crazy. It's like, I pick them up everywhere and I'm like, you can't throw that. It's like, I have this. So I'm like, okay, so there's another link there. So not maybe just a medicine, but also through the songs, through writings. Yeah. So maybe that's you too. See, there's something that's going to bring to you, Cindy, like through research, all sorts of avenues possible.
Yeah.
That's true.
By looking for what you love right now, because like I said, you're not going into the earth, you're going into your cell. Like each cell, you have to consider that is the earth that you're going into when you're accessing. So you already have these traits, you're just going deeper into it to find out more information.
And also, I don't know if that can help anyone else, but from that meditation, that recording, it's very visual. Like, I think she's a very visual person. She uses all the visual verbs. And at one point I had to let go of the visual verbs because I'm not a very visual person. So visual, I was stating very much in the reality of making images appear from my now imagination, because that's not how I connect with the divine. It's
Yeah.
not my first connection with the divine, the visual aspect. It's
What
I'm
is
very
your first?
I'm sensitive. I'm very it's very a sensation. I'm much more so that when I went back, I just sat back in me. And that's what I said when I just let it happen. So I just sat back in me, forgot about what the images she was saying, like opening a book or whatever. And I just went, no, that's not working. I was just seeing what she was saying. So I sat back in me, and that's when I started smelling the wood burning.
That's what I'd like to try, because I did feel there was like me observing, and it wasn't me actually sensing everything. So it's like I was led into a story. So I'd like to try it again, this time just letting go of all the imagery. Yeah. I'd like to do that again.
Yeah. Because it's very cerebral. You already live in a cerebral space. Yeah. So yeah, sitting back. And then sometimes when I do it, I put on sunglasses or one of those eye patches to kind of just bring the darkness in a little bit more if it's a bright room, or close the curtains and sit in a darker room, because that helps us tune in a little bit better.
Yeah, that's what I will do too. Just make sure it's a dark room.
Yeah.
Although if we were to go into space, like the 280 feet kind of idea, would it be better in a bright room then? Like,
no, still darkness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still darkness.
This
Darkness because I don't know if you remember, but like at the beginning, we talked about the pineal gland and how the pineal gland is responsible for melatonin, serotonin and all that. But melatonin is what allows us to tap into, like we go into sleep. It changes our states of consciousness.
Yeah.
So when we do this kind of work, we're entering into a different state of consciousness. So the darkness allows us to tap into that, release a little bit more melatonin, gets us back into a different state so that we can access the information better.
Okay.
So that's why it's not best to do it in light, because we're kind of training our brain to kind of tap into the subconscious, which lies in the darkness.
And it's funny how as human we associate space to light.
Yeah.
It's not more light than earth. It's as dark.
Exactly.
When you think of it, out of space, there's no light.
Yeah.
So it's like we associate that it's like bright sunshine, but
yeah. And that's a conscious thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna try it this way.
All right, let us know how it goes.
But I did like her voice and the words that she chose. It was very soothing, and it was well done.
She's very articulate.
Yeah.
Very, very articulate. She's very verbal. She is very visual. She will paint a picture down to its detail, but she's also a painter too. So so she's really good. I agree with you. I found the same thing. She speaks very fast. That's why some of her guided meditations I had to do exactly like what Sarah did. I wrote them down, listened to it, consciously wrote them down, looked at it, and then I made points of connect with earth and and then I went in and got my own verbiage and followed the process that way, because you settle into it. Yeah.
You could also probably listen to her a little slower, like on your computer, like you just do a little bit, like not to disturbing your voice, but just a little bit. So it's
slow it down.
But at the same time, I find it was kind of, maybe I'll do it again with her, because it's interesting that she brings you that fast down there.
Yeah.
You don't have time. There's a good thing for me also, because you don't have time to space out and prepare and get your own mental going as how what you're going to see down there. It's like boom, 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 you're there.
Yeah.
Woo, okay. So that's kind
He's also been doing it for like, I think it's over 20 or 25 years. So, when you do something so regularly, you don't realize how fast it is when someone who hasn't done it needs to go slower. She has it. So for her, it is that quick. So I don't think she had the idea of going a little bit slower, because it's just second nature for her. So yeah, I agree. Slowing it down would be a really good way of doing it. And if you're a fast processor, there you go.
Yeah, for me, I guess it prevented my mind to go everywhere, to go that fast. I think it might actually, because it worked, obviously. So
worked. It
worked. So I'm gonna do it again that way, because at first it felt too fast, but I think it definitely triggered something.
Yeah. Good. Wonderful. And so there is the Akashic Records. That's all it is, ladies. That's all it is. So that concludes our class for today. I'm very excited for you guys to try it again and let me know how it goes. I'm going to start delving back into it at some point. Probably soon. I think this actually, when I've been doing it now, and I was like, oh, thinking about like how I'm going to talk about it for the class, and I feel like everything happens for a reason, and this is kind of a little bit. I feel myself opening up to maybe including the Akashic a little bit more now, since things are going to slow down a little. So I'll join in and share some of my readings. And on that note, next class we're going to do animal medicine. And it's really just an explanation. There's not going to be anything that we can really practice because it's a very long process. Like it could take a month if we did it all together, but I'll explain it to you. And if you guys ever want to try it on your own, I've done it. It's really tremendously helped me work through some issues. So I'll explain that. And then our final class I'll post up and we'll have a little powwow, a little chat. And I was thinking, actually, I was speaking with Deborah, and she mentioned that it would be a nice idea if we asked Kim very nicely if she would sing us a song or a bhajan in one of the classes. That would be really nice.
Love that.
Yeah, I could.
And because I've heard your voice and it's beautiful. And so if maybe in the final class you would grace us with a song, if someone would like to grace us with a meditation or anything else you'd like to share or talk about or experience, we can do that in the last class. And yes, I'm going to put up some times for us to get together and do some energy work in person.
Cool. I have a question for the next class. If you know anything about it, I would like to hear about it. Sure. I have a guide that's there, a spiritual guide that comes very often.
Yeah.
And he's become like a friend. Like he puts his head here and he has sort of this it's a Pegaz. So it's a Pegaz, it's a horse with wings.
Oh, Pegasus?
Yeah, Pegasus. Because in French it's Pegaz. I was like, I don't know how to say that in English. So it's a Pegasus. So if ever you have, like, I don't know much about them. So if that inspires you on animal medicine, whatever.
Okay. So we could talk about Pegasus, but it's not in the animal medicine. So when I say animal medicine, what it is really, it's a specific process, and there's only 4 animals that we work with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's a shamanic practice, and it's the 4 directions: north, south, east.
Oh, it's like the wheel of medicine.
Kind of like the wheel of medicine. And so you have a specific animal that governs each side, and you work with that animal for each specific direction, whatever amount of time you allocate to it. So like south, you're working with snake because that's the shedding. And then north, we're working with eagle. Or east is eagle because that's vision and that's spiritual. So it's really 4 specific animals that govern those directions when I say animal medicine. But we can definitely bring in Pegasus and any other animals. We want to look at what they represent and the history of them and what they mean when they kind of come to us. Got it?
He came to me in a shamanism practice. I was doing a shamanism practice, a guided one with shaman. Yeah. And he came to me a few years back, and he's still there.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I was surprised that he came. Like, I thought it was my imagination. Well, I couldn't imagine.
Even a tune-in would be really good for you to kind of jump in there and have a conversation with them and ask, what are the messages that you're bringing to me?
I never
what
really
guidance that I need? Like, what am I not seeing with your presence? What can I use it for? In the tune-in, and receive the symbology from him, and then you can kind of go ahead and decipher it that way, and then go back in and ask more questions after.
Yeah, I never really asked him because he's been so reassuring.
Yeah.
Like, he's been the like feel good kind of presence.
Yeah,
always.
Even
like,
the
he literally puts
Akashic
his head here, and my health. So I never knew why before. Like, when I go into a deep attunement, my head tilts.
Yeah,
it always been.
It feels
before he came, and then when he came, I do like this, and his head's there, and I'm like, oh, maybe he was always there, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
and that's why I was, because it's really just reassuring. to have
So
it.
it could very well, you could even go into the Akashic Records and ask about this relationship, because as a soul, we choose to come back into this life. So every life that we have, we've chosen, and the experiences we've chosen, that it could very well be your connection to another soul that chose to stay in another realm, but you're still connected. You're here having a human experience, that's having a spiritual experience, but the energy of the two of you are connected somehow, some way. You can go in and ask, what is the history? Who is this?
Yeah, I guess
Why are
it's
we
my
so
mental
connected?
that didn't go there, I guess, because to me, I've just noticed now that a Pegasus is not a real creature. Like, like, you know, it's not a, so I think that's why I didn't go there, but actually it probably is real in another realm, right?
It could very well be real in another realm, or it could very well be that your imagination has sees it as a Pegasus. So what is a Pegasus? Half human, half animal. It's half horse. What does a horse represent? Power, authority, movement. So this energy gives you power. This energy is here to help you find your power. It could be anything that has to do with horse energy, because that's how your imagination through symbology is seeing it or feeling it. Everything's connected. Everything means something. Yeah. Yeah. I would delve into that one and kind of see. That sounds very juicy. That sounds very juicy and very interesting.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I will. I don't know. It's not one that I had, but now, yeah.
This is it. This is part of this course, because this tool, it gives you the power to answer all of your questions, like all of them, without having to go to external sources. You know what I mean? So like when this class closes, we're not faced with looking for another healer, another psychic, or another person to kind of give us this information that we need. We just have to go internal. And that's what I hoped you guys would have got out of this course, is that any questions you have, any guidance you need, any insecurities, you just have to sit quietly, go inside and learn how to read it to get clarity. And those around us just help us. You know, your healer helps you, your osteopath helps you, your nutritionist helps you. They help you along the journey, but you're the only one that's going to be able to do it. And you have a tool that helps you to use it, use it. It is so empowering.
Yeah. With all you're saying now, I'm like, how come I've never talked to him? Because he's the only guide that I actually know that comes back. I don't have any other, like there's no old man or old lady, or he's the one. He's been there, and there's all sort of people that I don't see. I don't see the faces of anyone else. I can't know who's there except
talk
him.
To him, ask him to give you more signs, give you more messages, send you something.
In my mental, he doesn't talk. So I guess that's why I didn't. To me, he's like, he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ladies. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day and the weekend, and we'll touch base on Google Classroom, and I will see you all next week.
Thank you,
Wendy.